What is up, guys? Murray and J08. Welcome to Pokemon Trainer Chat, the new Pokemon podcast on my channel, where we talk about everything Pokemon. Pokemon madness. This is Pokemon crazy. Pokemon cards, Pokemon in general, Pokemon games, whatever. Pokemon movies, Pokemon collectibles. Hey, listen, gotta catch 'em all. We got a special episode to kick off the new series. We got a special episode that's really voted from you guys. So many questions that I have about Pokemon Home, which is the new service coming out this month that's taking over Pokemon Bank. And a lot of people said it's so confusing, but really it isn't when you think about it. It is, but because it does a lot. But the way that I'm going to explain it, I think will clear up a lot of questions. And the way I see Pokemon Home is that if you play a specific game, you could use its features for that game. But if you do everything, it's going to cater to that. This supports a lot of stuff, and I think that's why people are really confused, because it does so much. You know, an interesting thing about Pokemon Home is that they have a free service, which we're going to go over what you could do without paying a dime. But it also has a premier service, a premium service that you pay for, $16.99 or $15.99. We're going to check it out. But a lot of people are complaining because they said, oh, I only paid, like $5 or whatever a year for Pokemon Bank. I'm going to cut right to the chase right now. It's uncomparable. You're comparing apples to oranges. You're comparing apples to meatloaf. It's not even comparable what this does compared to Pokemon Bank. Okay? Between the Switch version of the app and the phone version of the app, it's not even comparable. What you're able to do with Home and everything that's featured. So it's a very full-featured service. We're going to go over what it does and how you're going to be able to use it with your games. Now, specifically, move Pokemon, trade Pokemon, and then there's more features. We're going to go over it. I'm going to talk about what it covers, okay, and what you could do with it. We know that it's basically Pokemon Bank and more. But what's the more part? What justifies the extra price? I'm going to tell you, all right, and then you be the judge. If you justify the increased price of Pokemon Bank. I think, from what I read in my research that we're going to go over on this episode 1 of this podcast, I think it's worth it. Now, especially for a guy like me, because I have Pokemon Go, I have Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, I have Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, I have Sword and Shield, so, X and Y, Sun and Moon, it's going to make sense for me. But, you might be different. But it's not just about moving Pokemon. So, we're going to talk about that. So, move Pokemon to Pokemon Home. Now, I like this. This is a nice graphic here. A nice demonstration, a chart here. See, you have Pokemon Home, which is basically the center. Like your hub, okay? And then you have Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. Then you have Pokemon Bank, because it's going to work with Pokemon Bank. So Pokemon Bank users and Transporter, don't fret. We're going to include you in here. And Pokemon Let's Go and Eevee, and future, not when it launches, but shortly after, Pokemon Go. But there's a workaround with Pokemon Go. I'm going to tell you about it. Okay. So, The Nintendo Switch version of Pokemon Home. Now, mind you, there is a difference. There are certain things that you could do on the Switch version. There are certain things that you can do only on the mobile version. We're going to talk about that. I think that's where people are having the confusion. The Nintendo Switch version of Pokemon Home supports connectivity with the Nintendo Switch games, Pokemon Sword and Shield, Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. Both the Nintendo Switch version and mobile device version of Pokemon Home support connectivity with the 3DS software, Pokemon Bank. So whatever Pokemon you have in Pokemon Bank with all the other older games are going to be able to come in to Home. So X and Y, Sun and Moon, Omega Sapphire. There are plans to support Pokemon Go in the future as well. Very important here in fine print. I'm going to read it to you. Once a Pokemon from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is moved into Pokemon Sword and Shield, it cannot be moved back to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee. However, you can move Pokemon from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu to Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and vice versa. So that's fine. It's basically once they come into Sword and Shield, they're locked. They're not leaving. So think twice about it. Now, I'm going to tell you right now. the workaround about with Pokemon Go on the phone. It's very similar to when you brought Pokemon into Pokemon Let's Go from Pokemon Go. Once you brought your Pokemon in from Pokemon Go on the mobile phone to Let's Go, Pikachu and Eevee, you could not bring them back to Pokemon Go. That was it. Done. Very similar here. Now, my workaround to Pokemon Go, because there's no support yet, you can actually bring, if you get to Fuchsia City and Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, if you can get to, I think it's like halfway into the game. Once you get to Fuchsia City, you can actually connect your Switch to your mobile phone. You can import your Pokemon Go app to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Import your Pokemon into that game, then import your Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee into Pokemon Home. So there's the workaround. So that's how you get your Pokemon out of Pokemon Go. Naturally, you have to have Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, but that's how you would get your Pokemon out of Pokemon Go. And then you could, if they're in the Galar Pokedex, get them into Pokemon Sword and Shield. So you're taking them out of Pokemon Go, you're putting them into Let's Go, you're putting them into Pokemon Home, and then you're putting them into Pokemon Sword and Shield. I think that's the confusion that people are having. But I think that's freaking awesome. Once you get that wrapped around your head, I think that's a freaking awesome feature. And that's completely bypassing Pokemon Bank. Now, naturally, Pokemon Bank will be the same. And word of note, Pokemon Bank, when this launches, is going to be free. So people that don't even have the service will be able to get their Pokemon out of there. So that's awesome. Alright, trade Pokemon. Now, when it comes to trading, okay, as you can see, I researched this well. I'm running a Pokemon podcast, right? I gotta know what I'm talking about. When you're dealing with trading, you can only do it with your phone. Now, mind you, your phone is synced to the same account that your Switch is synced to. Your same hub. You have access to the same. It's not a different account. It's the same account. So whatever you do on your Switch, you'll see on your phone. Whatever you do on your phone, you'll see mirrored on your Switch. But you can only trade on your mobile phone. Okay? There's different ways to trade. You have a service called Wonderbox. The GTS is back. The global trading system. Very, very useful back in the day. I used to use it all the time. I know sometimes there would be people putting in a Caterpie and asking for a Mega Charizard. You get people like that, but there's limitations that you could set. But the GTS is back, so that's really useful. And there's room trading. I don't think it's going to be really that useful, but it's an option. And then there's friend trading. That could be cool, especially if you go up to like a meetup event. I'll read you about the Wonder Box. And there's limitations between premium, paid, and free. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to what you're able to do without paying and what you're able to do if you pay. Pokemon placed in the Wonder Box can be traded with people around the world before you even know it. The Pokemon placed in the Wonder Box will be traded even when you're not using Pokemon Home. You'll be able to increase the number of Pokemon you can trade at once by enrolling in a premium plan. I think off the top of my head, I think it's 10 if you pay. I think it's 3 if you don't. But we'll get to that. Somebody asked me a question to talk about on here. To get Pokemon, you could trade with yourself. If you want to transport your Pokemon, you could trade with yourself. You could set a second account on your Switch with a second home account. Free, because you're allowed to trade so much. 30. See, I remember this stuff. You're allowed to trade 30 Pokemon. You're allowed to trade 6,000 Pokemon with a paid subscription. I believe it was 3,000 with Bank. So there you go. That's already beating Bank. It's double. But you have enough. Now listen. Here's the big picture. I'm going to answer 2 questions here. The question is, and I wrote Nintendo and I'm waiting for a response. The question that we don't really know is that the 30 Pokemon that's free, as opposed to the 6,000 with the paid, is the 30 free? Is that a one-time use? Or is that 30 at a time? Now listen, I'm thinking that it's 30 at a time. Now, if it's 30 at a time, the free version is not bad at all. If it's 30 and then you're done, that sucks. You're going to have to wind up paying. Let's be honest. If not, then it's a good service to keep for free. But you're not going to be using it to organize your Pokemon. You're going to be using the free version to just get what you need into your other game. You know what I mean? You're not going to be using it to store Pokemon. Let's figure it. 30 is nothing. Now, somebody was asking me, what is the difference between trading, like with yourself, and transferring? Well, I'm going to tell you the difference. When you transfer Pokemon, they can't evolve. So, you know, as to what I'm to understand is if you transfer a Charmander, it'll never evolve into a Charmeleon and a Charizard. You would have to trade it with yourself in order to have the evolve. Okay, so that's the difference. That's the advantage of trading as opposed to transferring Pokemon. All right? Keep that in mind. But you can trade with yourself with 2 accounts. And you would only need the other account to be free because you're only trading, well, you can trade up to 30 at a time, which is more than enough. Okay? Let's see. Here we go. What you can and can't do with each version. All right, move Pokemon with Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu. You could do it with only the Switch version. Move Pokemon with Sword and Shield. You could only do it with the Switch version, which, let's be honest, makes sense. You can move Pokemon with Pokemon Bank. You could do it with both. Judge Pokemon, which is a paid option only. You could do it with both. Trade Pokemon, only with your phone. Check battle data, only with your phone. Check news, only with your phone. Exchange Pokemon home points and battle points, only with the Switch. Yeah, that's another thing. You get battle points for using home, which is a cool feature. You get rewards for using the service. Very cool. You'll be able to exchange your Pokemon home points for battle points to be used in core Pokemon series games. That's going to be interesting. Okay, premium plan paid. So for 1 month, it's $2.99. For 3 months, it's $4.99. For a year, it's $15.99. Okay, move Pokemon from Pokemon Bank. So it tells you here, unavailable, basic, premium, available. So to even get into the whole Pokemon Bank thing, you're going to have to be paid. But the upside to that is, somebody's texting me, the upside to that is Pokemon Bank will be free on your 3DS. Number of Pokemon that can be deposited, 30 for free, 6,000 for paid. Again, is it, this is my thinking. Is it 30 one-time deal, or is it 30 at a time? Listen, my guess is 30 at a time, but it would suck if not. Number of Pokemon that can be placed in the Wonder Box at once, 3, like I said, or 10 paid. Number of Pokemon that can be placed in the global trading system at 1 or 3 paid. Room trade, you can participate for free, but if you have a paid subscription, you can participate and you can also host the trade. Judge function is unavailable. You cannot judge, so you can't see any of your battle data. That sucks. But you can see it if you pay. Let's be honest, I think it's just worth paying, but if you're a die-hard fan. Alright, so let me ask you a question that I started in the beginning of the podcast. Do you think it's worth the increase of the bank subscription? I think so. Especially if you play more than one Pokemon game. If you play all the games that Pokemon Home supports, let's be honest, guys, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. And you don't have to do a year. You could do you could $2.99. Try it a month. If after a month you say, damn, this thing's awesome, go for the year. $3 to try it. That's what I would do. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Guys, that was an awesome first episode of my new Pokemon series. I hope I answered all your questions, and I hope if you were wondering about home, now you know. I hope I broke it down for you. Take care, guys, and I hope to see you on the next Pokemon podcast. We got lots to cover on here. Take care. Hopefully this will be out soon, and we can really go over it with each other. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.